Hi, good morning. This morning, I decided to have a chat on live with James Porritt. Now, James Porritt is somebody that I just met on Facebook, and we just started talking, and he has an incredible story. He's overcome some massive, massive challenges, which is always the kind of stuff that I'm looking for because, living life on your terms isn't just about, creating everything. It's how did we get through? How did we get through the challenges that we've got? So just to warn you, my neighbor has arrived and my dogs desperately want to go out. So there is a little bit of background noise. I do apologize for that, but bless my little furry friends here. So James, welcome to the call. The thing that really made me curious about you is, we just started chatting. And then I saw a post that you put up that you overcame such massive challenges of where you were 9 years ago to where you are now. And that's what intrigued me more to wanting to talk with you. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. And it's an exciting time. Very grateful as well. This morning we've had tech issues, we've had little dog issues, we've had all stuff going on.
Having dog issues.
Yes, dog issues. And it's interesting because a very wise and wealthy person said to me once, they said, life comes in three states. We're either in a crisis, just about to get out of a crisis, or just about to head into another crisis.
Oh dear.
So that's life. And it's not what happens to us, but it's how we respond. And I think that's a key thing. So 9 years ago, I wasn't in a good place at all. I had a job in the city, property role. I was making pretty good money and I was clinically depressed and I weighed 8 stones. And
wow.
I was
That's what
not.
A child weighs.
Sorry?
That's what a child weighs.
Yeah, I was literally skin and bones. I was not in a good place. And I had a previous job where I was doing really well for about 1.5 years. And it was with a telecommunications company. I'm not sure if people remember Phones for You.
Yes, I do.
So I started off at Phones for You, didn't have any sales experience, and I was really wet behind the ears. And I remember when I started, my manager said to me, James, you're like a barking dog with no teeth. Because I wasn't good at selling. I was terrible at selling, but I love people. And I think it was that ability to connect with people, to have an interest in people. And people just ended up trusting me. And I'd done really well, didn't really have any idea what I was doing. And then I became a mobile troubleshooter. And I'd go to underperforming stores. They could be doing 20, 30, 40% of target. Within 3 to 5 days, I'd move them up to 150, 200% of target.
Wow.
And I didn't realize what I was doing, but I got pretty good at it. But then what had happened, it happens like you. And then what happened was my region manager had a lot of confidence in me. He'd left the company. And then the other regional manager that took his place was a bit of a bulldog and a bully. And we just didn't get on. And there was a lot of confrontation. And I should have left a long time ago, but I stayed on. And then there was an incident at the store, which I was embroiled in, had nothing to do with me. And Phones for You had their internal security, which was like ex-police officers. And I was made to feel like a criminal there. And I was interrogated. And that was not a nice feeling. So I went from being a role model to being treated like a criminal within my own company. And that was soul destroying for me. So I was in a bit of a tight spot. The universe was kind of forcing me out. And I kind of left. Yeah, so I kind of left before I thought I was going to get pushed. Found a job in the property industry. I was really confident, but went there and I was so pushed out of my comfort zone. Everyone I was working with, or I felt at the time, was more successful, more confident, more skillful. And I was working on the phone and I was not comfortable speaking to people on the phone, sitting in an office. Before, I was used to face-to-face, being around people, and it was difficult. So I left the previous job. That had fallen apart. That really affected me. I didn't realize. The new job, I wasn't comfortable at all. The business that I was doing at the side fell apart. My relationship fell apart. We had to move home. That wasn't working. And it was like everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And
a lot of people do find themselves in those places in life where it seems like just everything is falling apart, and they see it as a disaster, which I'm sure at the time you also did. But in hindsight and wisdom, you know that adversity was actually the best turning point for you.
Of course, I didn't realize at the time, and yeah, it was a
You
blessing
never
in
do.
disguise. Yeah. So I was working there for about 6 months, and then I saw some of my old colleagues, and I'd lost a lot of weight. And when people put on weight, it destroys their confidence. But losing weight as well, because I used to look really good in my suits, and the suits were hanging off me, and it was visible. And people were saying, "Oh, you've lost a lot of weight," and that really affected me. And then friends were calling me to come out. I wouldn't go out. And then I was living with my brother and wife at the time, so we were renting. And then I'd go to work, come home, didn't really have a social life. My confidence, self-esteem, my self-worth, they were all destroyed. And we'd have family get-togethers at the house. I wouldn't come down. I wouldn't leave my room. And then if you've got people that are scared of leaving the house, I wouldn't leave my room. And
Yeah.
it was like everyone knew there was something up with Uncle James, my nephew and nieces, and family members. And I was becoming more of a recluse.
Yeah.
And at my lowest point, my mum and sister had come to the house one evening, and they put the landing light on to come and see me. I didn't want them to see me, and I was skinny enough. I went and hid behind the wardrobe.
Oh, well. Okay. Yeah.
And that was 9 years ago. I was 31, and that's not normal behavior for a 2-year-old child, let alone a grown adult.
Yeah.
So I'd hit rock bottom. My mum saw me behind the wardrobe. She was in tears. My sister was swearing at me, "You need to sort your life out." And I just didn't have any confidence, any belief. I felt pathetic. And it was just, and I realized through that, that different people deal with adversity in different ways, or depression. I didn't even know it was, but some people can try to get rid of that by attacking others, by lashing out and venting out externally, whereas I went internally and I was just like destroying myself, and I was suicidal. I couldn't even do that properly, luckily. And you can laugh about it now, but I'm grateful I failed at that. So failure isn't a bad thing, guys. It just depends what you fail at. So
Yeah.
so looking back, what I realized was pain happens to everyone. Pain is inevitable, but it's how we respond to it that counts, because pain can make us bitter or better. And if we choose to be better and grow, then it may not be easy, but it's a commitment that we make. And if we look back, our greatest pain can actually become our greatest asset, because during that time, it was a terrible time for me and family. But now I can look back and I can use that story to benefit others. So everyone's got a story, and that's why I love speaking to people, because all I'm good at really is just making friends and collecting stories. Because
and this is why I've got you here, because I listen to your story, and because in the line of work that I do, I often hear similar stories, or people having completely lost faith in themselves and not believing in themselves. And it's okay to acknowledge where you are, but it's what do you do afterwards, and that is what I loved about our chat and what I got to know about you, which is why I thought this is going to be great for other people to also listen to. Especially if on the outside we show everybody that, hey, we're good, and on the inside we're just falling apart, completely falling apart.
Well, this is it. And I didn't realize how bad it was until basically I was at work having a review with my manager. It wasn't stressful. And then the last thing I remember, I was slurring my words. And the next thing I know, the paramedics were there asking my name and date of birth. And I told them, and I was thinking, like, why are they asking the name and date of birth? I know that. And I was a bit confused. I came to, and apparently what happened was, because I had no consciousness, I bit my tongue, blood was coming, foaming at the mouth, my eyes were rolled up like exorcist, my body was convulsing, and I'd had a grand mal epileptic seizure that lasted 8 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And that's life-threatening. And I had 3 of those in quick succession, one at work, one in the ambulance, and one in hospital. When they took me to the hospital, they put me on antileptic drugs straight away. They thought I'd OD'd on crack cocaine or heroin. It was so severe, but there was nothing in my system. I wasn't taking anything. And over a course of time, I had CAT scans, MRI, EEG, ECG, psychological tests, blood tests, and they were all clear, which ruled out epilepsy. And it left the neurologist confused, because if I'd listened to my neurologists and consultants, I'd be drugged up to my eyeballs in bed as a zombie right now. So I had to go against the grain, and I had to find alternative solutions. And the last 9 years, last 15 years, well, my whole life, in fact, has been really, really difficult. So I had to find alternative solutions because I didn't want to be on medication. And then I became a personal trainer and looked at nutrition, diet. I cut out caffeine, cut out alcohol, cut out gluten, processed food. So I cleaned up my diet, but my body was still shutting down. And obviously, I didn't know back then what I knew now, but it was just bad conditioning growing up. Mum and dad loved me to bits, but I had very bad conditioning, lack of self-belief, lack of self-esteem, no self-worth, shame, guilt, and I was operating at very, very low vibrations, and that's what was impacting me as well. And severe levels of ADHD and bipolar, chemical imbalances, PTSD with the seizures. My body was a mess, but I had all the tests, and they couldn't find anything. And every time I'd go to the paramedics in the ambulance, and my mum was there or my sister was there, they'd constantly ask me, are you taking recreational drugs? Because they couldn't figure out what was going on. So it led me on a journey on looking at food, the physical side, the mental side, looking at different techniques and strategies, therapy, counseling, coaching, meditation, Tai Chi, all these different fields. And they all work, don't get me wrong, but it's almost like my body kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger and more immune, and it kept shutting down. So I've had 16 grand mal epileptic seizures in an 11-year period, and there was no medical explanation, so they couldn't help me, and I've had to find other ways. And then I think it was about several years ago, I came across this solution. I didn't know what it was, sounded really weird, but I was open, had a conversation with one of the medical professionals in America, and they told me everything that I know to be true now, but I didn't know if they were speaking to me as a medical professional or as a sales consultant, and I was really skeptical. And because I was on medication at the time, the last thing I wanted to do was take something that could potentially make me worse or tip me over the edge and kill me. I valued my life. I didn't want to go anywhere yet. So I was just naturally scared. So I just dismissed it. 2 years had gone by, and then one of my friends was researching it 2 years ago. They had really positive results, and they were very successful with a health company 17 years ago, and they bought me some of this solution to use. And they sent me a video. I had a look at it, and I thought, well, it'd be rude to refuse, right? He bought it for me, not to mention I'm grateful. And I thought, well, he must believe in it and he must care about me. And I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. And it was a solution that I was drinking. I was drinking it, and one of the triggers that I had for the seizures was sometimes I'd go 3 days with only 3 hours sleep. I just couldn't switch off, and my body was completely out of balance. And what I noticed was, after taking this product, on the 7th day, I went to sleep at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and I slept right through to 8 a.m. the next morning.
Oh, wow.
To me, it was life changing. So I didn't know what this was doing, but I was feeling calmer, I was feeling better, I was sleeping better, I was more rested, and I didn't feel as erratic as I was before. And so I was doing a driving role, and I was looking into this stuff because I didn't know what the hell it was. But now, because I had a personal result, I had to get to the bottom of it. I had to find out, number one, what the hell is this? And number two, what is it doing in my body? But we can experience something, but when someone else starts giving us feedback, that's when you know something's going on. So people that know me for a long time, they were coming up to me and they were like, James, you've changed. And I said, what do you mean changed? And they said, your energy's different. And I was like, what do you mean energy's different? They said, your energy shifted. And I said, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. You lost me. And basically, they were trying to be polite. They said, don't take this the wrong way. We've always loved you. But in the past, they were preparing me for something. Your energy was too intense. You never switched off. You weren't present. You didn't listen. We couldn't get a word in edgeways. And it was draining being around you for long periods of time. Now, that's not good feedback, is it? Tell me how you really feel.
But I can understand how some of the things are happening, because, you know, it's just such a spiral when things start to break down. Sorry, there's some background noise.
Yeah, I hear it as well.
Yeah. When we're starting to spiral out of control and then it affects our sleep, it's one of the biggest, I mean, in everything that I know, because I've been following nutrition and wellness, and I've always been doing the best I can with my body, diet, all of that kind of stuff. Fatigue is one of the first signs that something is wrong in your body. The second sign will be that you're not actually getting proper sleep. Oh, can you hear me? I'm not sure if my words are good.
Crackling.
Yeah, there's a little crackling, and I'm not touching it. There we go, it's gone. Yeah, so is it me?
I believe so.
Oh my goodness, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. But yeah, I tell you what, I'm going to speak as little as possible. But fatigue is one of the first signs that something is wrong, and that goes into the lack of sleep.
Yeah, so just following on, I'd love to listen more what you say, but it's crackling there. But yeah, so and I was like, wow.
Oh dear. I can't hear you, James. Your voice has disappeared. I can't believe this. So I'm just going to say good morning to everybody while you check your what's going on with your sound. So we've got quite a few people here. So hi, good morning, Julia. Hi, Janet. Hi, Louisa, all the way from Australia. Mark, Monica. Hi, Monica, all the way from South Africa, I believe. Teresa from beautiful Ehina. Christopher Lowe, Anita Thompson. I still can't hear you, James. Tomaz, Nico. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you here. And Livens. And Vinny, haven't seen you for a while, all the way from Germany. So, James, is your sound there? All right, we're going to just wait for James to come back in. But like I said, what I really enjoyed about James's story is that he was going deeper and deeper into decline and wasn't aware of it. And that started to cause a whole lot of breakdowns in his body to the point that it actually got quite severe and quite bad. When he started taking the solution, I don't know what the solution is, but when he was starting to take the solution, he himself again didn't notice that he was getting better. It was other people telling him. And you know, this is something interesting about health. When, for instance, if your cholesterol is going up, there isn't actually a physical sign to say your cholesterol is going up. So if you're not on top of the game and if you're not really watching it because you don't think of anything, or if you're not doing your medical checks on a regular basis, you'd be none the wiser until you've had a heart attack or something. And equally so, you know, we'll take sort of supplements, change our diet, exercise, all that kind of stuff, and we get better, but there's no physical sign that, you know, unless we actually get the test to know that we are better, we don't really know what is actually going on. And like I said, although this is not something that I openly talk about, but of course, you know, living life on your terms is part of it, is being healthy and energetic and strong enough to do the things that you want to do. So I'm a huge fan and follower of nutrition, and I've been doing this for like 30 years or so, alongside all the personal development. Hi, Lena. Oh, I cannot pronounce your name. Tetsuya. Good morning. And what I've come to learn is that there's only two things that go wrong in the body that cause then a myriad of issues. The one is that your cells or your body become toxic, and then they stop communicating with each other, and therefore the body's not working as a holistic system. The other one is deficiency. And, you know, sometimes when people start to become aware that something is wrong and they change their diet and do all the cleaning and the detoxing in order to up the deficiency, you know, from it where it is to being better. But if your cells are toxic, they still can't absorb all the amazing things that you're putting into your body. So it's more about getting rid of the toxins and then as well improving your diet. Because if those two things happen, the cells start to break down, and then that will cause the diseases. So really and truly, we only have one disease, and that is cell malfunction. So let me see if I can get James back in again. So James, can we hear you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, yay! Right, so I gave you my little bit of 2 cents worth of what I know about nutrition. And like I said earlier on, one of the biggest signs that we get is that we can sleep for 8 or 10 hours and wake up exhausted. that is a sign that the body's just not repairing while it's resting, because that's what happens when you sleep. And the other sign is that you then start to not be able to sleep, which is very counterintuitive. If you think that while we sleep, we heal and the body needs to heal, but now it's not actually sleeping, and therefore it's got less time to catch up. So it becomes a huge, big whirlpool. So do carry on.
Yeah, so thanks. So I don't know what happened with technology, but like I said, we're either in a crisis, just getting out of a crisis, or just about heading into another crisis. And it's how we respond that counts. So you said something very powerful when I came back on about the cells. And no matter what happens, our cells are constantly being created, they're performing a function, and then they die. And if that process isn't effective, then basically our body's not at ease, it's at dis-ease, which means we're out of balance effectively. And that's what was happening to me for years. I didn't know about it. And I was in survival mode my whole life. And so I came across this product, I started using it, and they said to me, well, they gave me the feedback, which wasn't good. And I said, why didn't you tell me before? And they said, well, we told you many times, you didn't listen. And I was like, wow, because I was in my own bubble. And I said, what about now? And they said, now your energy is balanced, you're grounded, you're present, you're listening. It's a joy being around you. You're allowing us to speak. It's like you're a different person. What have you done? What have you changed? And I was like, I don't know, because I wasn't tracking it. But looking back now, the only thing that I changed was I started taking this product. And then I was like, okay, I need to find out what this is, because I had no idea what it is. And the rest is history. And what I can say is that I've been using this product since August 2018. No more seizures, no more medication. ADHD and bipolar is completely balanced. No more PTSD. I'm sleeping beautifully now. And I've tried this out to people for the last 2 years. And each and every single person I've tried it to has had significant results. And we're getting significant breakthroughs with arthritis, diabetes, eczema, psoriasis, people with seizures like myself, anything where the body's out of balance. Because what you touched on when I came on, everything, we live and die at the cellular level.
Yeah.
And if our cells are not communicating, then our body cannot operate effectively. And now I've actually turned down several consultancy roles, and I'm focusing purely on the work that we do with this biotech company, where we're helping people transform their lives in a peaceful, powerful, positive way. And we're helping them transform their finances as well. And we're getting profound results. So it's very rewarding. And that's what we do now. And I'm really excited to be working with you and helping many more people.
Well, I don't know much about the product, as you know. But I'm looking forward to a conversation we're having after this live. Tell me more about this, because I am intrigued. I've always been into looking at what is a natural and good way to rebalance, because when you want to live your life on your terms, and like Vinny says, detox your mind. One of the biggest toxins that we have is psychology. But it's very difficult when you're in a depressed state, whether you're clinically depressed or just in a temporary depressed state, to make sense out of the nonsense, but also to have the energy to do the work. I've seen it in myself many years ago. I've seen it in my clients. And if we're not healthy, it becomes so much harder to do the work.
No, absolutely. So I'm going to have to love you, leave. I've got another call, but thank you for inviting me on. And thank you for the listeners. And very excited the work that we're going to be doing together and impacting more lives. And it's very rewarding. So thank you. And I look forward to touch base soon.
Thank you, James. Thanks for your time. Sorry, guys, for any techie issues that we've had. But I don't control everything, I promise. So,
All right.
and I'll catch up.